G'day guys, LV here, and in this video I want to talk about if replacement type mirrors like my Clearviews that I have are worth it or even necessary, or if some attachment mirrors will be good enough to do the job. Now I'm going to be digging into my several years of experience using both replacement mirrors and attachment mirrors, but I got to tell you something, my last 3 years I've always ended up going with replacement Clearview towing mirrors. Now there's a good reason I went with Clearview, but I'll get to that towards the end because I want to focus on attachment mirrors versus replacement mirrors first and foremost.
When you can't get Clearviews.
Can your Clearviews do this? Oh, get out of me. But I guess this is a good time to tell you guys that this video is not sponsored, and everything I say in this video is my opinion based on my own experiences. So without going into the nitty-gritty of the legal requirements, you're pretty much going to need some sort of extended towing mirrors if you're towing a caravan for most vehicles, as you need to be able to see down the side of your caravan and to the back of it. So for most vehicles, that would mean the caravan is going to be wider than the vehicle, and so you're going to need to extend your mirrors somehow. And if all you're doing is just taking your caravan for the occasional trips throughout the year, I think that attachment tow mirrors are going to do the job just fine. All right, well, let's start off with the easy stuff. That's the attachment mirrors. Well, they can be very cheap to install, and even probably the top end of the range of attachment mirrors are going to be cheaper than the bottom end of the replacement type mirrors. And once you take them off, you're back to being normal and not have to worry about extra wide mirrors. But they can be quite clumsy to put on, very hard to adjust, and when you do get them finally adjusted, they can be very easily to shift in their adjustment. And probably my worst experience with them was on my Triton that kept closing back in every time I went past the road train. There we go. This whole thing. And they can look a bit out of place and a bit messy. If you're like precious about your looks, they might not be a good option for you. Now to replace a mirrors, well, first of all, they can be quite costly, but I just got a quote from Ford to replace my standard factory mirrors, about $650 each. That's not even including the paint. So by the time you buy a pair of them and get them painted up, they're going to be up around $1,800 anyway, which is about what the Clearviews cost. And the good thing about them, especially with the Clearviews, is you can retain all of your factory options you have with the mirrors, whether they be heated mirrors with the indicators, 360 cameras, all of those features can be moved over into the new mirrors, so you don't lose any of your factory features. And actually that is the reason I always end up with Clearview mirrors, because when I start asking around in the market about replacement mirrors, they seem to be the only ones, or usually the first ones at least, to get out mirrors that keep all of the factory options. And if I'm paying so much money for a car with certain features in their mirrors, I want to retain those. But they can also be a bit bulky, but I've got to admit, this next generation type of Clearviews are far better than the original generation, which were much wider. So these fold down into 3 times, so they're a bit narrow when you're not using them for towing. But still, they are that little bit wider than the factory mirrors, and you definitely do notice them, especially in the wider cars like the Ranger, especially when you're in car parks. So the positives for replacement mirrors are very obvious. You only have to replace them once, and they're very easy to adjust in and out to get it ready for towing and put it away when you're not using it. Also, like I said, you retain all of your factory features, and that includes adjusting the glass electronically, which is awesome. And I reckon they actually look quite good, especially compared to attachment towing mirrors. And with a slightly bigger glass, and the one I've got even has a curved glass for your blind spot mirror, it is actually a far better vision, especially if you have a tray back ute. Mate, I did not know how much vision I was missing with my tray back ute with my standard mirrors until I got the Clearview mirrors, and then I realized, oh my god, I am missing so much. Had such a big blind spot that I never even knew about. And once I put the Clearview mirrors on, it was so much easier to keep a watch down the side. I could even see my canopy doors from my door mirrors. So if you are doing regular towing, or even if you have a tray back ute for work, I can highly recommend getting some sort of replacement mirrors. They don't necessarily have to be Clearviews, but I can tell you what, the 3 vehicles I've had Clearview mirrors on, they have all been great. The one time I did have an issue, and that issue was the mirrors would jam a bit when I'm opening them up. And it was not a big deal at all. They shipped brand new mirrors to my local four-wheel drive accessory fitter, and they fitted it for me free of charge. So I guess in summary, what I have to say is that if you're just doing the occasional tow with your caravan, it's probably not worth you spending all that extra money on replacement towing mirrors. But if you are doing regular towing, especially if you are on the road full time, or even if you have a tray back ute, I would recommend looking into them because they are actually awesome and one of my favorite things I have done to the car. Anyways guys, that's just my thoughts. What's your thoughts? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you very much for watching this video, and I'll catch you on the next one.